Once you have a house, you can now start contributing to retirement again, and then would be 529 for kids. Okay, you do want to have your retirement going before you start putting into 529. Okay, so that it's when it makes sense to save for kids. Okay, you want to be set up, you want to have mask on yourself before you put it on your child. Okay, you cannot borrow money for, a lot of people say, you cannot borrow money for your retirement, but kids can borrow for their education. So they will be fine. I do not recommend borrowing for education, period. That's why I want to give them this option by providing the money that I put away for them for education. Okay, so now, what I was going to say next. That's when you start saving for your kids' education. Okay, how this fits after retirement investing, not before. Well, that is the point. Like I said, people say that, oh, they can borrow. And in fact, you cannot do anything if you don't have retirement. So you need to get that going before you start thinking and worrying about kids' education. Okay, why even small amounts make a real difference? Time does the heavy lifting, and small contributions grow into meaningful money when they have years to compound. That's why starting right now, when they're young, when they were just born, is a very good idea, because the time will compound the finances. If you just put a little bit, let alone you put a chunk or a couple $1,000s up front, and it's going to give that compounding to grow all these years until they're ready for college. How this step changes your family financial trajectory. It reduces the debt your kids start with and give them more freedom in their early adult life. Again, I advise against getting any debt for education. So it's not only decreasing the debt, it's helping them to start at zero, okay, not negative. Because a lot of people, and I'm sure you know a lot of adults that still pay their student loans. They're 50s and they pay their student loan because they didn't prioritize, because they do pay all this interest for years and years. I never had student loan debt. We were paying as we go. My dad was paying for my education. My wife, though, had some student loans when we got married, and our goal was to pay it off before our firstborn was born, and we actually paid it a month before. She had $20,000. She didn't put any more on accommodation or a living situation or dorm or anything like that. She went to community college. She got dental hygienist education, and it's very good return on your investment, basically. Her school didn't cost her more than $20,000, maybe 22, something like that. But a lot of people, even she even had assistants who had twice as much debt as she had, and they were getting paid a third of what her salary was. So yeah, people just go to college, they have fun, they buy cars with that money, they pay for rent for this money, and then that's how they get into this debt, and then it's hovering over their life for a long, long time. Of course, this is the level of the wealth game is when you pay it off, is when you pay all the consumer debt. That's why sometimes it takes too long, or very long, depending on how much you have in your student loans. It's definitely a lot of times is the biggest item, a line item. Although cars these days are pretty expensive as well. Okay, welcome guys to this morning live with Vladimir Nemchinov. I'm grateful you joining. Let's talk finances before you get to work. Maybe it'll prime you and pump you up for the day to come, and maybe for this year. Maybe you will make some changes in your financial map, and you will join the wealth game that I'm playing with my family. All right, let's get to some questions that nobody asked me. How much to save in 529? To make a long story short, my almost 7-year-old has 72,000 in her 529. We have saved 400 a month since she was born. Is this enough? Are we on track? Thanks. Well, how do we find out if we're on track?